Howdy, Immortallium here, and welcome to Cultured Immortallium. And today I thought I'd cover a doujin that really impressed me in many ways. And I want to let people know that it's really good and that you should go check it out. So of course, what is this doujin? Well, you folks already know because you clicked on the video. But that of course is Catching Feelings at the Final Showdown. And I was kind of blown away when I read this because I was a bit unsure about it. Like the premise, it seems quite funny, but like, is it more of a gimmick more than anything else? But anyway, let's go ahead and discuss the premise. So the premise is that we have our main character, Hero, who is very creatively called Hero. They're clearly based off of like Erdrick, the guy from Dragon Quest III. In fact, there's a lot of like stylistic choices in this doujin that seem to be based off of Dragon Quest III, but that's a relatively minor note overall. Anyway, she has led her party to go up against the final boss, essentially, an archfiend. And both of them, they have their faces covered. So they decide, as part of this big final battle, that they're going to finally show each other their faces. And when the helmets and masks and stuff come off, they are blown away by each other. It's what this made me think of is, if anyone is familiar with that meme of Squidward to do with, oh no, he's harsh. That's exactly what happens in this situation. They look at each other and are like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. So, amusing premise, but of course the main question is, can it continue throughout the entire read? And thankfully the answer is yes, and that's for several reasons. First off, the pacing is great in this manga. It starts out, at kind of normal speed. Once the battle starts going, it's really quick, high speed. Even when it transitions to, the sex scenes, it still keeps that great pace. The only kind of problem with the pacing is that near the end, I feel like it takes its foot off the gas and, slows down a bit too much. I think right at the end, it would have benefited to keep that same pacing, that same level of energy. But, overall, that's a relatively small part of it. And the dialogue between them is hilarious. Like, they actually have genuinely really good comedic timing with each other. They're very funny. And in terms of their character designs, they're great. They contrast off each other really well. The Archfiend is this voluptuous woman, whereas the Hero is a little bit more of a tomboy, but still quite feminine in her way. They're great. They match up with each other really well. I will say, though, that with regards to the story, the kind of biggest weakness, in my personal opinion, is that the transition to the sex scenes doesn't seem that natural to me. Of course, I've talked about being natural in this, but seriously, basically, they are going up against each other. They realize they can't have a proper fight because of, circumstances. And so they end up kind of battling each other, but in like a sexy way. And I don't know, it just felt a little unnatural to me. I think that could have been improved upon. But literally, the rest of the story is so funny, so much energy, that it's a great read. It's really enjoyable to read. And that high energy that the story imparts, it wouldn't mean anything if it wasn't for the great artwork. As I said, the character designs are great. Obviously, the side characters, the party members, are a little bit more on the basic side, but they look like they're kind of Dragon Quest counterpoint. So, in that regard, that's good. But the main thing that I love about this is the paneling and the effects. The paneling is just superb. There's so much dynamism to it that it just helps solidify that high energy throughout the manga. It's fantastic. This is exactly... I'm always talking about the paneling when it comes to this kind of stuff, when I talk about manga and panels, because to me that's one of the great strengths of manga compared to kind of Western comics, whereas Western comics, the panels are relatively basic. The panel usage in manga is so much more dynamic, and this has that. It has diagonals, it has panel borders blending into each other, it has body parts stretching off of the panels. It's superb. And these special effects, like all of these speed lines and these soft touches and everything, it's great. This is a really good looking manga, and the panels are just superb. So highly recommended from that. Also, it's worth noting that I read this from a website called Iridori Comics. They're a company that I've been kind of working with for a while, covering some of their stuff. And there was a very nice extra you can get when you purchase this release from them. So basically, the artist Namboku, basically they have a little section at the end explaining how they came up with the concept. Basically, they had a dream, and when they woke up, they kind of wrote out a sketch of their idea. They went to the internet, they got some feedback on the idea, and then they decided to make it a full release. And that's really cool to learn. What's even cooler is that they actually include this initial sketch. Now, this initial sketch, obviously it's a little basic looking, and in terms of, character designs and some of the kind of, story beats, not super different to the main manga, but it's still a really, really cool thing to include. So I'm very happy that Iridori Comics included that. So overall, what are my thoughts on Catching Feelings at the Final Showdown? This manga, to be honest, when I started reading it, I was very worried that the premise would be, like a kind of just a gimmick that would very quickly evolve into, very standard or subpar read. And when I found the high energy of it and the comedy of it, I was really, really impressed. Like, this is actually an excellent read, and I actually strongly recommend it. It is a Yuri, so if you're not interested in Yuri, that's fine. I'm not the biggest fan of Yuri myself in terms of sexual content, but I just found this to be really, really funny to read. It's great. So, of course, I would love to hear your opinions on all of this. Have you read Catching Feelings at the Final Showdown? If you did you enjoy it? What are your thoughts on this premise? Because it is certainly an amusing idea. What are your thoughts on the use of panels in manga? Because, for instance, I think the paneling here was superb, absolutely superb. Do you like Yuri manga? And if you do so, why? Just be fascinating to hear all of that information. And if you want to purchase this manga as well as support the channel, I will be including an affiliate link to Iridori Comics in the description below. So definitely go check that out if you're interested in what I have covered here today. So leave a like, subscribe, and I will talk more about these cultured works in the future. Thank you very much.